बरं वाटतं. बायपास केलं. बापरे. हा. सह्याद्री तो मैं किसी को देखने को बोल रही हूँ।
I have shared my screen. Hello.
Visible, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello,
You can,
Pratya madam.
chat window is not accessible. So chat in channel
Okay.
meetings is only
Disable.
available to members.
Please
Yeah.
click here
Yes.
on chat. Chat icon.
Hello.
In
Chat in channel meetings is only available to team members.
Okay, all right, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
No problem.
So,
Don't panic.
Okay.
Yeah, all of you, don't panic.
आता म्हणून प्रशांत आपले ते सेक्शन
Okay, all right. Anyone from remaining introduction from Andhra, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, and then Punjab, Haryana. Anyone remaining from that? Anyone newly joined from that state?
This side is Prashant Agarwal from Uttar Pradesh, Ghaziabad, Delhi, NCR.
Ghaziabad. Can you switch on your? Yeah, great.
Yes, I have already switched on my camera.
Yeah, thank you.
This side is Prashant Agarwal, Associate Professor in Side Group of Institutions, Delhi, NCR, Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, thank you. So your areas of interest?
Right now, I'm working in the ML and the data science also. So I love to work on the Python, Anaconda.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone remaining from this Delhi side? Goa, Gujarat, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, MP. Anyone from Goa, Gujarat, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, MP, Madhya Pradesh? You can just introduce yourself. You can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Myself, Shobha Hari, from Dr. Ambedkar Institute of Technology, Bangalore, Karnataka.
Okay.
Currently, I am associate professor working in the Department of Master of Computer Applications, sir. And my research area is machine learning. So I would like to know more about this workshop.
Great, Shivarani. So you are right.
So I'd like to.
Right, you are right place because we have many. Thank you, Shivarani.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Anyone from Goa, Gujarat, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, MP? So it's like a bus going on, and I'm shouting like a bus for people to get into bus. Andhra, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, J&K, Goa, Gujarat, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, MP. Okay, all right. No one from this? I think we have one candidate from Chhattisgarh. That's why I was looking for her, but she is not, I think, present here. Okay, all right. Sachin sir, if you are there, you can start. So how is your feedback about first session? Ashish Tendulkar.
Am I audible to you?
Yeah, Piyush.
So the session was very good. Even I had learned many things from the session. and it was very interesting session. The sir has introduced us to the techniques and some mathematical calculations also that I am always afraid of. He had made the things very easy to make them, because I am from the MCA background, and I am not of the engineering background.
Okay, okay,
And
yeah,
even from the last 3 workshops, I've been learning the machine learning and Python from these workshops only. And I had loved and had gained more and more of knowledge of Python and ML and artificial intelligence, which I was in my PG very afraid of what the artificial intelligence is.
great.
So
Yeah,
I would,
the way Ashish started was like yeah, it's like a person who is very fond of blackboard and whiteboard. So I used to see people like I met one Professor Karmeshu from JNU. So he was a Bhatnagar Award winner, and I was a participant of FDP over there. So he always used to take the blackboard and start explaining on the blackboard. So similarly, Ashish did today. He used a whiteboard and he explained on the whiteboard. So it was a very interesting one.
yes, sir. This pandemic has made us learn the online tools and remove the barriers of those
Yes,
offline work.
sure, sure,
Sir.
sure.
Sir, I would request one more thing. Sir, I had tried the Anaconda, but I had not able to get which version of the Anaconda should I install. So if you have any thing else that I can install and get the thing
Yeah,
working on.
Sachin sir might help us.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, Sachin sir, it's over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Shall we start?
Yes, yes, yes.
Before moving to the contents of next session, let me just cover up one important point which we could not cover in last session, and that was about functions. Because I would like all of us to know one interesting feature provided by Python in terms of functions, which really makes our life very easy. So let us write our first user-defined function. Starts with def. Okay, very simple.
Yes, sir.
Now the beauty of Python lies here. Say if I want to change this particular function to say my calc. Okay. So say this is addition. Action. Addition. Division. Now I want to return all these values simultaneously. Then in conventional languages, I have one option that I can create an array or some other data structure, and I have to return that particular thing, and then I have to manipulate. So in this entire thing, as a developer, we lose focus on the problem at hand, and we get perplexed by the complexities of the underlying language. In Python, what you can do is just return the variables which you want to return. That's it. It's as simple as that. And here what you need to do, just cache those things, say R1, R2, R3, R4. Yeah, this is my calc. See how clear and concise the entire structure is. So I feel that this really helps us a lot to focus on the problem at hand. Okay. So with this concluding thing, let us move to the next session. Is it okay? This last part.
Yes, sir.
Now let us move ahead. Let me just stop presenting this. And I will share now my entire desktop. What you can see is my slide is visible.
Yes, sir. Your slide is visible.
Thank you. Now what you can see?
Command prompt window, sir.
Yeah, thank you. That means my entire desktop is now shared with you. Now, before moving to now data analytics and visualization with Python, which is the topic for our second presentation, second session. First, let us emphasize why Python is required here, or why I cannot do these things using other languages. So, one practical reason for this is Python is a de facto language for any kind of scientific or engineering calculations nowadays. So, if you are thinking to do something in terms of, say, machine learning or image processing or quantum computing or any other such latest domains, Python is de facto language for all these things. Now, when you're talking about, say, machine learning, so let us focus on machine learning. Then, machine learning has different steps. Just now, what we have seen in our first session was something like a crash course on Python. And that was a minimalistic approach to address 80% of our day-to-day needs. But the beauty lies in how we are going to use those particular features to solve problem at hand. So now, for example, when you are talking about, say, machine learning, now, machine learning has certain predefined steps. Now, which are those steps? First is managing data. So in machine learning, what we are doing is we are trying to find out patterns and then use those particular patterns for certain things like predictions. Now, the prediction may be numeric prediction, or it may be a kind of a classification kind of prediction. So we need to be in a position to manage our data. Now, when we say managing our data, that means the language at hand has to help us to understand the data properly. Then it must help us to pre-process that particular data properly. Now, when we say pre-processing, so again, nothing is random. Again, we have some predefined steps here. Now, for example, say if a certain field has, if say my data is having say 1,000 records, and in that 1,000 records, and say there are say 10 fields. Now, if there is one field which contains null value or missing values for say 900 records, then I need to drop that particular thing. Hello.
We are able to see only PPT, sir. Is it correct, sir? PPT only visible.
Oh, yes, that is okay, sir. No issue.
Okay.
I'm just trying to connect why Python is required here.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So, if say out of 1,000 records for 900 records, certain field has a null value or missing value, then we need to drop that particular field in totality. Or say for a certain row, if this particular thing is, if say out of 1,000 records, if the field has missing value only for say 5 or 10 records, then we can always replace those particular things by the average value for other fields. Or say if certain information is in textual format, then we need to do its mapping to its appropriate integer values or numeric values at least. Now, for example, say if a data is in male female style, then you may convert that thing in its numerical equivalent like 0 or 1. If say there are data you have collected which contains say 15-20 cities, then can I label those particular things in a numerical format? See, all these things fall under pre-processing. Now, yes, pre-processing can be done using database itself or a third-party software like Excel, where you may store the data. But Python does that particular job very, very easily. Once you have your data with you, then the next stage is designing a model. Now, for that particular thing, you need to divide your data in terms of input data sets and output or prediction data sets. Once it is done, then you need to divide the data in training data sets and testing data sets. Once it is done, then you require to implement different algorithms. Now, again, Python comes with so many data machine learning libraries which provide you all these algorithms which you can readily use to develop your models. Some libraries like sklearn, they provide you such a simple approach to all these things. Like say you may be having classification, you may need to do say neural network modeling, or you may need to do say support vector modeling. Now all these things are readily implemented in libraries like sklearn, or you may use libraries like say TensorFlow from Google. So there are n number of libraries which are available, which you can readily use to design your model. Once your model is done, then you need to test it for its accuracy. to ensure that your model fits your data and there is no overfitting also. So again, Python provides you different libraries to assess the accuracies of these models at different parameters. Once it is done and say you have developed your model, then you need to persist that particular model also, because you are going to deliver it to the customer. So again, Python enables you to persist your model in a fantastic fashion. So if you just check it out, even if you just take, say, machine learning as a domain, Python helps you at each and every point of that particular domain. So that's why now Python has become something like a de facto standard for machine learning applications. Okay, and that's why this is part of this FDP. So with this particular introduction and mapping, let us now move towards our topic for this session, that is data analytics and visualization with Python. Now, in this, what I have done is, everything we are going to do using Jupyter Notebook, as earlier I have shared with you. The reason is online tools have some limitations. If you are comfortable with Google Colab, you can use that particular thing also. But again, there to bring uniformity, I recommend all of you to use Jupyter Notebook. First, we are going to focus on data visualization. Even though the title says data analytics and visualization, let us first move towards visualization. The reason is here you can see the output on the screen. Okay. Once it is done, in data visualization, what to expect in today's session? We'll see how to plot data, then how to visualize data, and if time permits, we'll see image processing and animation. But at least, now what to expect from this? At least let us reach a stage where for machine learning, databases are important, data sets. Now, there are so many websites which are available, like kaggle.com, which provide you access to well-known data sets. So whenever you are designing your models, you are expected to test those particular things on well-known data sets to be verified by other researchers.
Sachin sir, it's in edit mode, so you can present mode.
So right now, sir, I'm sharing the desktop.
Okay, so
to avoid the switching between the frames.
Okay, no.
But I think it is visible, no, to everyone?
It's visible. It's visible. No problem.
So in this thing, we expect to reach up to a certain point. As I was saying, that data sets are very much important in machine learning, and understanding that particular data set is the first step before planning to do any kind of manipulation on that. Now, Python's libraries, they come with some inbuilt databases. So again, here Python helps you a lot. So we are going to see a case study where there is one database by name Digit. Now that database stores images of various digits handwritten, like 0, 1, 2, 3, like this. So generally those data sets are used to design models which will recognize digit characters. So we'll try to visualize how data is stored in that particular data set through data imaging. So at least we'll plan to reach that particular stage. Then after that, we'll once we reach that particular thing, then let us plan how we can move ahead. But at least we decide to reach that stage today. Okay, because there are so many things which we can do. So with this thing now, let us start. the first thing which we are going to do is we are going to start our Jupyter notebook. So I expect that all of you have installed Jupyter notebook on your machines. Now, how to open that particular thing? It's very easy. At your prompt, type Anaconda prompt. Okay, type Anaconda prompt. Open this. Now this looks like command prompt. Now I suggest you please create one folder on your D drive and name it Python props. So go to D drive and make a folder Python props and go into that. Just let me know whenever you have done this.
Excuse me, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I just want to ask the same thing that I'm unable to install the Anaconda. Can you suggest me which I should? Because I have searched on the Anaconda website. It is saying that it is only a few versions available. The individual version, the commercial, the team edition, enterprise edition, and the professional services. I had downloaded the individual version. It does not have
Right.
any option of that. It is only two options. One is for the 64-bit and another is for the 32-bit. Yes, sir.
You have tested with 64-bit, right?
I had tested with both 64 and 32-bit.
Then, sir, you have to check about your configuration as your operating system is Windows 7. So
Yes,
some
sir,
previous
Windows.
version that you have to search on the net, which is compatible with your system.
Okay.
Somewhere on the net, they might have archived the older versions.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. All of you have created the folder Python procs on D drive. Is it done?
ये लोग कौन है पता है? ये कंप्यूटर साइंस के असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर से। सर वो भी तो सिखाएंगे उनको बेसिक्स।
Hello, is it done?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, why specifically I am asking you to do this stage is from wherever directory location you launch your Jupyter notebook, that folder is considered as a root folder for Jupyter storage. So henceforth, you please now go to that particular directory. So we are now inside Python procs directory. Now here you now launch your Jupyter notebook. Okay, Jupyter notebook. Press enter. Okay. Now see, this is root folder. Now this root folder is our Python procs folder. So whichever notebooks or files we are going to create, now those will be stored inside that particular folder. So henceforth, it will be easier for you to search because this is one observation of ours. that afterwards it becomes difficult for us to users to find out where the files were stored. So this is one simple trick. Now, all of you have reached this stage. Is it okay? Is the interface of Jupyter Notebook is visible on your screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, on your laptops?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So on the right hand side, there is new.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me once again, sir?
Yes.
How to create and how to go to the Jupyter?
You install Anaconda.
Yeah, install Anaconda, sir.
Then you open Anaconda prompt. Here you type Anaconda prompt. Okay. Can you see this? So you open Anaconda prompt. So
okay,
it will look like our command window.
Okay.
Then go to D drive, D:/C. Then there you create one folder, Python procs. There is a make directory md Python procs. Then go inside that particular folder, cd Python procs. And there you type Jupyter Notebook.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Kadam sir, hello.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Kadam sir, it has already instructed to install and get ready for this workshop with Python and all Jupyter Notebook. So we are ready with us. So let's please continue with the session so we can save some time and learn more.
Sure. Is it okay with all of you?
एससीचे थोडेसे भरले होते मी मगाशी भरत होती पण ते आणि
Hello.
नाही ठीक नाही बी
Yeah, okay, sir. You can proceed, sir.
नाही.
Now let us create our first Python script, Jupyter Notebook. Okay, this is the window. Now, whatever we have done, everything you can type here. Okay, so here you can rename the things. So let us give it the name, say P1.
Sorry,
whichever things we have done till now, everything we can do here.
Kadamji, sorry to interrupt. Are you sharing your screen? We are only seeing this command prompt.
I'm sharing my entire desktop.
Yeah, you have shared, but only this, C Python program, the command prompt is stuck. I mean, probably it's happening with me. I may ask.
No, sir, it is visible.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I can see, sir. You can see the
Yeah,
program.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we are getting the entire screen, sir. No problem.
So if you just see here, whichever things we have done in first session, all these things you can type here and check the output. To check the output, you can click on run button, or you can press shift and enter. It will take you to the next thing. So one, just for the participants who are seeing this interface for the first time, let me just take 2 minutes. This is one cell. So this is considered as one code block. So whenever you say run, this code block will only execute and its output will be shown here. So this particular thing helps you to design prototypes, but this is not meant for production level. So just always be clear. Jupyter Notebook or Colab notebooks are not meant for production purpose. These are meant for development purpose or to design prototypes. Now let us focus on data visualization. So let us first import our second library. The library which we imported in previous session was Matplotlib is one mathematical plotting library. From that, we'll use pyplot, and its short form is PLT. Okay. Aesthetics means it's doing the processing of importation. Import is okay. So all of you can see the characters on my screen properly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that there won't be any spelling mistakes. So import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Okay. Now let us play with this particular pyplot. Now this is very helpful one. Now throughout this session, we are going to use only one. See, again, this is a minimalistic approach. So once you get initiated, then you can explore other features in Python more freely. So what we are going to do is say PLT dot. Let's put plot a bar plot. Now we require some data. So say data is 10 minus 10, 0 plus 10. Okay. 30, 10, 10. Now, first list will give us x-axis. Second list gives us y-axis. Dot draw. Run the code. We'll see the graph. Okay. I request all of you to be with me. First list or array x-axis, second list of array y-axis. Okay. Now let us do the modification of the same thing a little bit. X-axis I will keep same. On y-axis I will add a negative value just for the sake of demonstration. Okay. If you don't want this line, always put plt dot draw. Are you with me? Now let us create separate x and y axis arrays. So 10, minus 2, 0, 10. These are my x coordinates. X values for that particular data people. 30, 4, 10, 70. Now plt dot bar. Now I can put directly x and y. So now you will understand why we have spent some time to understand data structures in previous session. Now here we are using list or array data structure to provide data for visualization. Is it okay? Are you with me? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, let us modify the same thing a little bit. Data, I will say 30 and 20. Okay. Now, I plot it directly. What I say, first value, values I'm providing here, and then I will provide data. LT dot drop. I made a mistake here. Is equal to I missed. Okay. So 0, can you see 1 and 2. Up to this it is fine. Now, if you see, this is array. Now, I will replace this with range function now. And this is how range comes handy. Slowly you will understand its importance. Are you with me? See, here the data was 0, 1, 2. This line I replaced with this. Okay. Are you with me? Shall we move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now let us modify this particular thing a little bit. Now, instead of these numerical things, what will happen if my x-axis has classes? Okay. So, for example, say now, say number of gardens in cities. Now here I want say Pune, Kolhapur, Sangli, something like this. So how to do that? So again, x or y, or say now we can say data. Okay, 10, 20. And say we can say labels. A, B, C. Using those things. Then PLT dot bar. Now I will use range here to make the things easier. Data. So this will look like our earlier one. Up to this code is same. Now PLT dot x range is again same 3, and here you provide labels. Syntax error. This is comma. Now you have A, B, C here. This can be anything. This can be Pune, Mumbai, is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now see here, this 3 is a magic number. It's a literal, so it's a magic number. So what actually 3 is? It's nothing but length of our data. So can we replace this with length of data? So now our code becomes generic. So slowly we are improving upon our code to make it more generic in nature. And all these things we have seen in our previous session. Is it okay? So now it doesn't matter. Now I can go on adding the things here. Say 50. And I will add here. Bengaluru. Because now our code is generic. Is it okay up to this?
Yes, sir.
Now, still our solution is not proper. The reason is my data and labels, or my x-axis and y-axis, this particular data is not together. Now here what I need to do is just imagine that my data may be in Excel sheet. One field may be data, another field may be labels or X or Y, and I have to import that particular thing. But here both the entities are separate. Wouldn't it nice if I can keep Pune 30 together, Mumbai 10 together, New Delhi 20 together, and Bengaluru 50 together? And we have seen one such data structure, dictionary. So what we can do is data, let us create the dictionary. Say A, store 30, B, store 10, the previous example, C, for 30, 20. Now if you just see, it's a dictionary. Here X, Y values are together. Now, already we have seen some functions. Which were they? If I print data dot keys, I can take keys separately. Convert it to lists. These things we have done previously. Values. Now I can print keys. Let us check their types. print their values. Data, keys. So first, dictionary type, keys and values. After explicitly converting them to list, they are list. So this is our actual data in dictionary format. These are our keys. These are our values. Have you understood this code?
Yes, sir.
So slowly we are generalizing the entire thing using the features which already we have learned. Now what I need to do, if this is the thing, then I can now plot my bar using a range whose length is equal to my data values. Can mark my X sticks using a range whose length is equal to keys. Right. Now this looks like a proper solution. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Others, have you tried this thing and is it giving you the similar output?
Can you
Depending upon-
explain this code? Excuse me, sir.
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Can you explain this code, sir?
Sure.
What
Sure.
sticks,
Yes,
range, length of keys and keys.
Yes, ma'am. One line by line, I will explain it. This is our data. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. We can see.
Okay. This is dictionary. Data type is dictionary. Now, in the dictionary, this is one item. X, Y, X, Y, second item, X, Y, third item. So in dictionary, we call this is key, this is value. Now, can I separate these things out? Yes, I can say keys is equal to data dot keys. Any just thumb rule is whenever you want to do any kind of data processing in Python, try to convert it into list or array. So I will do explicit conversion by saying list. So what I have done is now we have created an array which contains only lists. Can you see it? Is it okay, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Similarly, we can separate out values. Okay. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now we can use it in our bar. I think other code is rest of the code is okay, no, with you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that is okay.
Shall we move ahead?
Yes, sir.
So now what we'll do is
Just scroll up. I will take the screenshot. I'm
Sure,
trying
sure.
it online.
Okay. Up to this, it is okay. Scrolling. Shall I go up?
No, sir. Thank you. Just
Now what we'll do is, now we'll try to plot a graph for sine wave. So now we are going to import our third library. The first one which we imported was NumPy. Second one was Matplotlib. Now the third one is going to be library concerned with mathematics. So from math, let us import the functions required, sine and radians. So sine function will give us the sine value, and sine requires input in terms of radians. So we'll provide angles to radians, which will convert it into sine, into radians. We'll provide our angle in decimals, in degrees, which will be converted to radians using radians function. So what we'll do is, in our first version of this particular program, we'll store x and y values separately in two arrays, two lists. So there will be one x list, there will be another y list. So this example will try to sum up most of the things which we have learned in previous session using arrays. Now, for I in range 0 to 300 with step 1. Purposefully, I am using range here. So what this will do, it will provide us an array of values 0 to 299, and for will take 1 values from that. The same thing I could have written like I is equal to 0 while I is less than 360. Is it okay with you? Differentiation. And then somewhere I might have written I is equal to I plus 1. But as this thing is familiar to all of you, I'm using range function here. Is it okay? Or shall we go with while first? Hello?
Yeah, the for is okay.
Okay. Now, let us use append I. So we are going to put 0, 1, 2, 3 values along x-axis, and then we are going to put their corresponding sine values along y-axis. Is it okay? So we have created our data. That's it. We have populated two lists, one with x values, another with y values. Now let us just plot the graph. Plot bar x against y. Let me make it 360 here. We could have done the same thing using x is equal to this, I is equal to 0, while I is less than 360. Okay. As we discussed, both are going to give you same. Is it okay?
For graph, we have to install some library.
No, sir. That's why I recommended Anaconda. All these libraries are inbuilt in that particular distribution.
Okay.
Otherwise, that matplotlib and all these things, yes, you have to install those things individually. If you are using some other distribution or only Python is already installed.
Actually, sir, I had not been able to install that Anaconda, and I'm trying online.
Then you have to install it separately, matplotlib.
Okay, and also in the range function, it is giving some error. Can you just scroll up? I will check that where I had written wrong.
Sure.
So range function, yes, sir.
So for machine learning, range function is very important. Range, enumerate. Shall we move ahead? Shall we move ahead? Okay. Shall we move ahead? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Shall we move ahead? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah. Now, see, this particular graph, it looks as if we are plotting X versus Y. But that may not be the true representation. Now, when I specifically want to plot a graph, which is X versus Y, I need to use a different plot. So let us create another data set, say 10, 5, minus 5, 20, 35, 64. Now, these are values along the x-axis. These are values along y-axis. And now, instead of bar, use plot. Okay. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now, let us plot one exponential graph, which is very much required to find out whether a problem can be efficiently solved using this. Now, purposefully, again, let us use a range function, get familiarize it in better fashion. So what we are going to do here is, code is very simple, just check it out. So we are plotting square. If I want to use another function, there is one function power from math import power. I can use that function instead of power. If say I want to use log, then along with power I will import log also. And instead of this power, I will replace this with log. So now I made the mistake. Some library issue is there. It's a mat domain error. That means there is some issue with the library. Otherwise, you will get the values for log. Now, let us revisit the case study, which already we have seen previously, that is plotting sine. Now, let us create another Python workbook. New, another Python one. Name it as P2. So here we'll try to sum up all the things which we have seen. Now, here we are going to make one change. In previous sine case study, we have used two arrays, one to store values for x, another to store values for y. Already we have seen that we can replace that with a dictionary. So let us create one dictionary for I. Slowly you will appreciate the power of Python. What we have done is we have created one dictionary storing information about angles in degrees 0 to 359 and their corresponding signs as its values. Now let us plot first. Okay, so now this is data dot keys data dot values. See the power of Python. Whatever we had done, only in these many lines we could put the things. Similarly, I just need to do bar here to get another. So this is the power of dictionary. And this is how you can see now here what we are doing is we are using just one data set which contains two fields or two parameters. So we can say this is a 2D data set which you are having two parameters. And already we have seen that a dictionary can contain a dictionary as its item. So there is no limit to number of dimensions. And that's what we are doing in machine learning. Number of dimensions are more. So you can handle those things very easily using data structures like list and dictionary. Just let me know whenever this thing is okay with you. After this, we are moving towards how we can visualize the data. That means how we can create an image or a picture of data itself. Is it okay? I hope all the participants are also doing these things on their PCs and laptops. Shall we move ahead?
Yes, please move ahead.
Yeah. Now let us create a third notebook. Now, in this particular case study, what we are going to do is we are going to visualize the data itself. Again, we are going to use the same object. Now, let me use a two-dimensional data. This data is very much clear. Is it okay? Data is clear, nothing is there. But now if I want to visualize the data, then see, what I'm going to do is I'll use BLT image of that particular data. So image show. I am show, that is image show. What to show? Show me this data. And see, this is how you can visualize your data. So the system will decide which color to be given to which number, depending upon your range. But easily now you can visualize your information. Say, I have my information in say a different fashion. Say 1, 5, 20, -5, 10. Okay. Now I want to visualize this. I need to put it in brackets. It's array. See, the system has given appropriate colors. If say I use one here, okay, 1, 1. So this really helps us, especially when you are doing machine learning on pictorial data. Something like handwriting recognition, because you need to understand the data first. So this really helps you to give insight into your data set. Let us create one range. Say data is equal to range. Say let me create range from 1 to 1000. And plot this particular thing. Convert everything into list. Explicit conversion. See, it's fine data because number of data points are more. Let me reduce the number of data points. See, you are getting a color gradient like this. If I reduce number of data points, you will get discrete things. Now say I'm getting a color gradient, but that is not observable enough. So let me discretize my data in a say set of 100. Now yes, now I can discretize the data because I have given a boundary. So a set of 100 I'm considering as 1 unit. So this is how you can quantize your data or discretize your data and have a visualization of for the same. Are you with me? I request you please try these things and then we'll move ahead. Try to change the numbers. Only thing, I am show function requires information in list format, and that should be list within list. Why? You will come to know afterwards. In next case study, it will be clear. Just let me know when we can move ahead. Now, in next example, what we'll do is we'll try to introduce our list from NumPy, and let us use it instead of default list provided by Python. So for that, we need to import NumPy. Then we'll use one random function also. Now what we'll do is, let us first decide the dimensions. Say let us create one 2D array having dimension 10. Okay. Let us create one NumPy array. So let us create one array containing all zeros. See how beautiful the entire process is now. 2-dimensional array I want. I can provide 2-dimensional array. So now if I print, see the beauty of NumPy array. That's why I said that as you move ahead, you will be using NumPy array in your machine learning applications than the default array or default list. So now this is the data. This is all zero data. Now we want to fill it with some random information to start with. So we can use for I in range count. For j in range count, because we are talking about 2D array. Data I j equal to some random number. We have created some data, so let us print it. This is our random data. Now you can consider this data is concerned with your machine learning application. Some data you have collected and you want to understand that particular data first. That means, is there any hidden pattern? Sometimes it may happen that just a visualization itself will give you some insight into your data. But these numbers will be misleading. Not misleading, it is difficult to comprehend these particular numbers. Now, for example, here I'm only talking about 10. What you are going to do if the data is say 100 by 100? So complexity is more. So what we'll do is, let us plot it. So LT image show data. And this is a much better visualization for understanding purpose. for this random data. Here the data is random, but your data will have certain patterns as it will be collected for a specific domain. If I give, say, here 100, see my data here, visualization, because this is 100 by 100.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, madam.
Why that count value is 10? What it indicates, and this time
This
100.
is the dimension of the array. 10 by 10, 100 by 100.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, I have taken this. For example, here it will be much clearer. 4 by 4. Is it okay? So the values are random here, but when you are talking about machine learning algorithms, machine learning problems, these values will be predefined coming from a specific domain. In our next example, we are going to see this, where, see, all machine learning, first, one thing we need to understand that whenever you are talking about machine learning, our information is going to be numbers. Even if the information is textual, we need to convert those things into numbers. And then we process those numbers. Only in this thing, numbers were generated randomly. But when we are talking about actual problems at hand, those numbers will have certain patterns. Is it okay? Just let me know when to move ahead. If any doubts are there, please ask me, because next case study, I want you to focus properly, because it is going to use one machine learning data set. One standard machine learning data set we are going to use for next case study. So just now, whatever visualization we had done, the data set was random. Is it okay? Shall we move ahead?
Yes, sir, please move on.
Yeah. Now, if you just see this data, you can take the shape of that particular data, that means the dimensions by function, by its variable shape. This gives you dimensionality of your data. Are you with me? This is important one. That means there are 100 elements, items divided in 10 by 10. Now our machine learning dimensions may be different. So this is the visualization if the data is in 2D format. I can convert my entire data into the format or any other format. For example, now say I will convert it into something like this, say data. Okay, data dot reshape 100. Now, if I print data 1, it is only one dimensional array having 100 entities. Now, if I visualize this data, its visualization will be a little bit different. What is the problem here? Data. See, its visualization is quite different. Both are showing the same information. Are you with me? See, this is important point. Are you with me? Both the images, hello, both the images are showing the same data. This is one dimensional, this is two dimensional. Now, whenever we collect information in an automated mode, always our data will be in one dimensional format. The chances are. That means an image we consider as a 2D picture, but inside a computer, it can be stored as a 1D array. So if you visualize the data, depending upon its dimensional construct, the visualization may appear differently. So one of the challenging tasks in machine learning is decide how you are going to reshape your data. Okay. Have you understood this reshaping concept? If I have 100 items, I can look at it as one array of 100 items or a 2D array of 10 by 10. Or say one array 2D array of 20 by 5 or another 2D array 5 by 20 or another array 50 by 2. Are you following me? So reshaping of your data plays an important role. Now, if this is okay, then we'll move towards our digit database. Just let me know. I'm just keeping it here. Shall we move ahead?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Now, for our next case study, this I will rename as P3. Let us open a new worksheet, new notebook. Now, here what we are going to do is, till now, whatever visualization we had done, the data generated was a random one or it was manually entered. Now we are going to use a data set which will provide us images of handwritten digits. So we are going to use our fourth library, sklearn, which is a machine learning specific library. So by default, we have to use it almost in all the programs. Now from sklearn, scikit-learn will import one data set. So it has inbuilt data sets, standard data sets. Will import one function load digit. Asterisk means it's working. Some error is there. Yeah, digits. Okay, and then our favorite matplotlib. Okay, so the new one is this. Now let us load the information. So digits is equal to load digits. Now we have entire digits data set stored here. You can study this particular data set properly. I'll just show you how. So let us see this particular data first. So digits.data. First, let us see what its data type is. So as I said, every library comes with its own data structures. So this is type bunch. So this is not normal list or normal dictionary or tuple or set. This is type bunch. So every time such things are there, you can convert these things into NumPy array and do further processing. So let us see how. First, I request all of you, please reach this stage, then we'll move ahead. Just let me know. Is it done?
Yes, it's done.
Yeah. Now let us understand this particular data set first. Okay, how its data looks like. So generally, all these data sets which are come pre-built in Python libraries, they provide you one function description. So you can read this thing leisurely. So they give you information about this database. So it says this is optical recognition of handwritten digits dataset. So it's an official dataset. So whenever you are developing a new model for OCRs, this is one which can be used for testing. Now it says that number of attributes are 64. That means for each number, the image consists of 64 points. So you can study these things. Then the image should be read as 8x8 matrix. See, they are given here. That means even though it consists of 64 points in one dimension, it should be considered as a 2D matrix of 8x8 image. Is it making sense now, whatever we discussed previously? So you can go through these things leisurely. So how that these 64 attributes, how they actually look like. Okay, so let us first understand how many records are there in this particular data set. So you can get the length of digits dot data. There are 1797 records in this particular data set. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now let us see what's the size of each of these record. So very easy. Let us see first 64. First instance we are talking about, and it is matching with what they have given, 64 number of attributes. Okay. So let us see, there is one, is it okay? Are you with me, all of you?
Yes.
Yes. So let us store one digit. Okay, digits dot data. Say let us store 0 itself in this. So I have separated out one item for testing purpose. Or let us say dig. Now let us see its type. Can you see this? By default, this is numpy array, which we can manipulate very easily. Now, if this is this, then see its dimensions, shape. It is 1D array. That means it consists of an array of 64 attributes, which matches with what they have given here, 64. So let us see now, visualize that particular thing. PLT dot image show digit. It should be an array. Now this is the representation of image 0 inside the database, but no way it is looking like 0. Are you with me? Hello? Are you with me?
Yeah, we are interested to see that 0.
Now, this is 1D array. So we need to, what their data, that's why I said understanding database is important. What they say, attribute information must be 8 by 8 image. That means now here, this is 64-bit array. We need to convert it into 8 by 8 array. So let us now create digit in 2 dimension, digit, reshape, 8 by 8. Okay. And now, if in between, let me just show you how that particular thing looks like. This particular thing, if you print it, digit, this is numerical representation of that record. This is how it will look like if you create an image. Now, how this 2D image will look like? Same information, but now it is 8 by 8. And now, if you plot this, now this looks like 0. So, for example, that's why understanding the nature of data set, how it is represented, what are its dimensions, and then doing some pre-processing and then visualizing, that plays a major role. Now, for example, let us check data stored at 7. So I can say digits dot data. This is digits dot data 7. By 8. Plot. Image show. I can again analyze this index. Now, if my index is say 4, if I reduce the resolution, so this is how we can actually visualize a real data set. Just try it on your own.
Sir, please show the code again.
Just let me know when the things are over. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes.
So as we are reaching the 5 o'clock mark, the next 2 case studies which I designed for you may not be in a position to be taken today because they themselves will take lots of time. Just let me just share the gist of those things. Once you understand the data, then the next step will be you want to pre-process the data in machine learning. Now, as I was discussing earlier towards the start of this particular session, all these things are predefined. That means when you want to pre-process the data, the first thing which you want to do is if small number of rows have missing or null values for a certain field, then you may remove those particular rows entirely without losing much information. Then sometimes it may happen that certain fields have missing values for large number of rows. In these scenarios, you may drop entire fields again without losing much information. Then sometimes it may happen that certain numeric fields have missing values for small number of rows. That time those missing values can be replaced with some statistic for that particular field, something like say average value. Then to avoid overfitting, sometimes we need, not sometimes, we need to drop all those fields which are having unique values for most of the records to avoid pattern memorization and overfitting. Then sometimes your fields may be having textual categorical fields like male, female, which we need to convert into numeric categorical fields like 1 and 0. And up to this it is okay, but sometimes we forget one important part, that after all this you may be having numerical values for all the fields, for all the records, but then also the range of those numbers will be different for different fields. That means there may be say age, which may range from say 1 to say 100 or 120, and other side there may be say salary, which may say range from say 10,000 to 10 lakhs. Now here, the salary field may bias your model as those numbers look more significant as compared to your age field. So here what we need to do is we need to normalize your entire data set so that all the fields will have values between zeros and 1. So all these steps are together formulate the pre-processing stage, where again Python comes very, very handy. Unfortunately, I could not cover that particular case study today. And then once you have your data set well understood and well pre-processed, then the actual job of your model design comes into picture. So there again, the things are pretty much well defined. That is, you import the clean data set, then you get familiarized with the imported data set by knowing its statistics. Then you create input-output data sets. Then you decide which model to be used. Then again, you create training and testing data sets by splitting your input and output data sets respectively. Then you create the model. Then you calculate the accuracy of the model. If the accuracy is okay, you will use the same algorithm. If not, then you will try to tweak the parameters of that particular algorithm. And even after that, your accuracy is not good, then you will go for another technique till you meet the required accuracy. And once that is done, then you will try to persist the model so that it can be used by your customers. And once everything is done, then you will try to visualize the logic behind that model also, if possible. For example, decision trees, they can provide you this particular logic in a nice graphical fashion. So all these are the things. Definitely somebody will be touching on these particular points in coming lectures in this FDP. So with this thing, we have reached 4:59. So 1 minute is there. If any queries are there, you are welcome.
Yes, participants, please, if you have any queries, please ask. Is anybody want to ask any question regarding the last two sessions? I think that the sessions are conducted in such a way that they don't have any kind of questions or any queries. So since it is 5 o'clock exactly, with this we have come to end of the first day. Today for the last two sessions we are having along with us Dr. Sachin Kadam, and sir delivered 4 hours of continuous hands-on lecture on Python, and I have attended both of the sessions. So I know that sir has given everything which is practically required for the base, and the next sessions those we are having for machine learning. So you can practice machine learning very easily by using the knowledge that is given by sir today. So on behalf of School of Computer Science and the organizers, I really thank Dr. Sachin Kadam for the 4 hours of hands-on experience on Python given to the participants. So I really thankful to sir for that.
Thank you, sir.
So with this, we conclude today's third session and day one. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we'll sharp start our day two. The feedback link is shared with you. So feel that feedback also.